Michael Behrens here, January 23rd, 2021. I'm at the east end of Lake Creel Trail in Palmer Village development in northwest Austin, their big drainage pond, and was happy to find a few least sandpipers. Smallest sandpiper in the world, yellowish legs, using the edge of the pond here. And with them, a Wilson snipe. If anybody's heard of snipes before, maybe thinking they're not real birds, well, here's a snipe right here. Both these species are migratory. We only see snipe in the winter. And least sandpiper are more prevalent in the winter, and they breed up in the North Canada and the Arctic. And there are so many least sandpiper, and they're with overlapping migration schedules, that here in central Texas, in early June, by the time the last least sandpipers have left on their way north, by the end of the month, late June, hey, look at that. By late June, already the early least sandpipers that have already made it north and bred are starting to come through south again. So you can find least sandpipers in central Texas pretty much every month of the year, even though they don't breed here. And this is a nice group. See those stripes, the dark back on the snipe with the light stripes going down the body. And see the size difference between the snipe and the least sandpipers. Least sandpipers about the size of sparrows, maybe a tiny bit bigger. And I used to think, well, sandpipers are just on the coast, but here they are in my neighborhood in central Texas. Very cool. Glad I got to share these cool birds. I came upon a group of about 8 or 10 lesser goldfinches, or year-round goldfinches. Look at this bright yellow and black male. You can see the white on the wings. And they're in these, in all these dead coneflowers, eating seeds. A common question bird clubs get, Audubon societies around the country get, is where'd all my goldfinches go? They usually come to my feeder, and I haven't seen them for a while. And it's usually because the wild seeds are available and in season. Look at all these female goldfinches. And birds, unlike a lot of mammals, birds don't acclimate to being fed by humans as much. They'll take it, but they'll prefer the wild food. And here they are. Lesser goldfinches enjoying a field of dead coneflowers and other native plants and grasses. You can see the difference between the male and the female, the bright yellow and black males and the a little bit more subdued females. Oh. Making my way through the creek bed, I came upon this red-shouldered hawk. Riparian hawk species. They love suburban neighborhoods with water nearby. And we have lots of these hawks. They like to hunt from a perch. Often are looking around for things in the creek bed. Snakes, they love snakes, crawfish, rats. Lots of mostly little stuff like that. Here's a little closer look at the hawk. Oh, there it goes. I'm still in the creek bed amidst all this beautiful switchgrass, and there's little patches of mud around. And in one of the patches, I found this nice coyote track. You can see it's about a little over, maybe 2.5 inches long. Very similar to a dog track, but the claws are much finer. And you can see here, there's a little claw mark, and there's one on the other side, and the 2 front claws didn't even register. And that's one of the clues that separates coyote tracks from dog tracks. Here's more coyote tracks I found. Again, see how you don't see much evidence of the claws. Dog tracks have big stubby claws often. And here on this one, here you can just see a little bit of the front claws right there. Coyote tracks are often narrower, present narrower than dog tracks too. This is turning out to be a pretty fun morning for tracking. Hadn't expected that. Came upon some more coyote tracks. And these smaller ones, about maybe a little over 1 inch long, are rabbit tracks. We have cottontail rabbits out here, and these look like their tracks. Might be another one right there. I'm really happy to see the same group of ducks on the creek in the last pond made by the last dam, including this male cinnamon teal that's still hanging around. The male blue-winged teal behind him. And the female blue-winged teal behind him, I believe. Oh no, the female blue-winged teal is just, there's two females. Yep. The two ducks in front now, both with the little white at the base of the bill. Female blue-winged teal, and there's the male with the big white crescent on his face. Some beautiful ducks we only get to see in the neighborhood here for a couple months, usually in January and December. Here's a single male American Wigeon, who I didn't get much footage of yet in the last couple weeks. Another really beautiful, striking native duck, wild duck. You can see the black and white tail and the white forehead, and if we had more light, he has a iridescent green stripe through his face. Is that bright bill too? Here come the teal. You can see how the teal are small compared to the American Wigeon, the blue-winged teal and the single cinnamon teal. And then the northern shovelers are even larger than the Wigeon. Can't ask for a nicer view of three beautiful duck species. And there's the shoveler. There's a male shoveler sleeping. You can see the dark head, that's actually iridescent green head, and the white breast and a little bit of the brown sides behind the female that's in front of him. Beautiful birds. Here's a northern flicker, a woodpecker we only get in the winter. You can see that red V on the back of its head. And I haven't gotten a good look at one of these yet. I've only heard they have a really distinctive keel call that I heard. I've just heard a few times this winter. You can see that big V on his breast. He's eating berries. You can see the spotted breast too through the twigs. Neat to get a decent look at this bird. Here's an American pipit, a songbird that, well, you could hear the pipit from its name as it flew away. Here's an Audubon's warbler, a more western subspecies of yellow-rump. We usually get the other subspecies here, so this is pretty cool to find this guy.
You got two mics, so I guess you can probably talk me up.
I'm back at my car by the Palmer Village Pond at the east end of Lake Creel Trail in northwest Austin, and it was a really fun morning. I just recorded my 51st species for this morning, a red-tailed hawk that was actually on the cell phone tower right there. And what can I say? It was a great morning of sparrows in the grasslands, and the ducks still on the creek, including the cinnamon teal, and I got to see a rare Audubon's warbler, the subspecies of Yellow-rumped Warbler. That's more western. That's rare for central Texas. Got to share that bird with a couple fellow birders I met on the trail, and recorded a bunch of good video clips. I'm happy I'll be able to share those with you.